Your calm mind is the ultimate weapon against your challenges. I want to speak to you today about a power that is often overlooked, power that is within you right now, but too many of us fail to recognize. That power is a calm mind. Yes, a calm mind. The ability to remain composed, collected, and unwavering in the midst of storms is not just a skill, it is a weapon. An ultimate weapon that, when wielded, turn mountains into stepping stones, obstacles into opportunities, and chaos into clarity. You see, life is relentless. Challenges come without invitation. They knock on your door whether you are ready or not. Bills pile up, relationships falter, dreams seem distant. Yet in the heart of the storm, there is a choice. You can either let the storm control you, or you can control the storm. And how do you do that? By cultivating a mind that remains calm under pressure. Calm mind sees solutions where others see problems. A calm mind hears opportunity where others hear defeat. Calm mind acts with strategy where others act with panic. It is in your calmness that strength is born. The world may shout at you. The situation may press on you, but when your mind remains composed, you become untouchable. You become unstoppable. Many of us chase power outside ourselves, money, influence, recognition, but the true power begins inside. A calm mind is not passive, it is active, intentional, and relentless in its focus. It does not react to fear, it transcends fear. It does not panic in the face of adversity, it responds with wisdom. Here is the secret: calmness is contagious. When you are calm, your family, your team, your community feels the stability. You become the anchor amidst turbulence. I urge you to practice stillness, to pause before reacting, to breathe when fear threatens to overwhelm. Pray when confusion clouds your vision. And remember, calmness is cultivated, not given. It is forged in discipline, strengthened in patience, sharpened through experience. The next time life presses hard, the next time you face trials that seem insurmountable, the next time fear whispers lies in your ear, respond with calmness. Not weakness, not silence, but intentional, powerful, unwavering calmness. Your calm mind is your ultimate weapon. Guard it, train it, trust it, and when you do, you will discover that no challenge is too great, no obstacle too high, no storm too fierce. Because when your mind is calm, you are a force the world cannot defeat. There is a power in the world that is often overlooked. Force that does not roar, a strength that does not shout, a weapon that does not destroy, yet conquers all. That power is calmness. Yes, calmness is power. No mistake, this is not a passive state, nor is it a sign of weakness. It is a demonstration of mastery. Mastery over your mind, mastery over your emotions, and mastery over the storms that life sends to test you. Think about it for a moment. Life is relentless. Challenges arrive without warning. Some days it feels as though the universe has singled you out, as though trials are set in place just to test your resolve. Bills come due when the money is scarce. Relationships falter when you least expect it. Dreams that you worked so hard to build seem to crumble before your eyes. And yet, in the midst of this chaos, there is a choice. You can give in to panic, you can let fear dictate your actions, or you can choose calmness. Calmness is not avoidance. Calmness is not indifference. Calmness is deliberate, intentional power. It is the ability to breathe in the face of adversity and to see clarity where others see confusion. When the world is shaking around you, pressure is mounting, when voices are screaming, a calm mind stands firm. It does not flinch. It does not scatter. It does not succumb to the panic that so easily enslaves the human spirit. That is power. I want you to imagine a mighty river flowing with strength and purpose. On the surface, it may appear calm, serene, and gentle, yet beneath that calm exterior is a current so strong that it can carve valleys, move mountains, shape the land itself. That is the essence of calmness. Outwardly composed, inwardly unstoppable. A calm person is like that river. On the surface, you may not see the storm of thoughts and pressures contained within, but beneath, a powerful force is moving, thinking, planning, and strategizing. Calmness allows us to act with precision. Consider a soldier in battle. The difference between panic and calmness can mean life or death. Those who panic, who lose control over their emotions, are overwhelmed by fear. Their actions become erratic, but the soldier who remains calm, who focuses despite chaos, sees opportunities others miss. He strikes with clarity, decisiveness, and power. In life, we are all soldiers of our own battles. Our weapon is not brute force. It is not anger. It is calmness. Too often we think power comes from noise. We believe that to influence, to command, to win, we must raise our voice, react swiftly, and demonstrate our dominance outwardly. But true power is quiet. True power is composed. True power is a still mind in a chaotic world. It is the calm individual who can negotiate peace while others shout, the leader who makes decisions when others freeze, the parent who guides with love when everyone else panics, friend who listens and supports when fear tries to control the room. That is the power of calmness. Calmness also protects us. It shields us from making rash decisions. When we react in anger, when we respond in fear, when we let anxiety drive our actions, often dig ourselves into deeper trouble. Words are spoken that cannot be taken back. Actions are taken that cannot be undone. But calmness brings perspective. It gives us the ability to pause, to reflect, and to respond with wisdom rather than emotion. This is not weakness. It is intelligence. It is strength. It is the kind of power that cannot be bought, borrowed, or forced. It must be cultivated from within. And let me tell you something. Calmness is contagious. When you cultivate a calm spirit, it does not stay with you alone. Your calm presence influences everyone around you. Your team feels it. Your family feels it. Your friends feel it. In moments of crisis, people look to you for guidance, not because you are the loudest, but because you are the calmest. There is a magnetic strength and composure that draws others toward it. It is a beacon of hope in the storm, stabilizing force in a world that often seems out of control. Calmness is not simply a natural talent. It is cultivated. It is forged through experience, patience, and self-discipline. It is strengthened by practice. You cannot expect to be calm under pressure if you have never trained your mind to withstand it. You must deliberately put yourself in situations that test your patience, that stretch your endurance, that challenge your focus. You must meditate on peace. Practice breathing in chaos, pray in the storm, and remind yourself daily that calmness is not a choice of convenience. It is a strategy of power. I know it is not easy. I know the world is relentless. I know life can feel unfair. I know fear will whisper lies in your ear. Every time you choose calmness over panic, every time you pause rather than react, every time you speak with thought instead of anger, you are growing stronger. You are training yourself to be unstoppable. You are wielding a weapon more powerful than any sword, shield, or financial strategy. Your calm mind is your ultimate power. Calmness does not only protect you, it propels you forward. When others are caught in storms of doubt, when others are paralyzed by fear, you move. You see the opportunities, the openings, the possibilities. You act when others hesitate. You lead when others are confused. You win when others are overwhelmed. The calm mind does not just survive, it thrives. Calm mind turns trials into triumphs, setbacks into setups, obstacles into opportunities. Do not underestimate the power of calmness. Do not think it is passive or weak. Do not wait for the storm to pass to find peace. Cultivate it now. Breathe deeply. Think clearly. Respond intentionally. Calmness become your default, your foundation, your weapon, your strength. And when you do, you will discover something extraordinary. You will discover that life cannot break you. Challenges cannot defeat you. Fear cannot control you. Because a calm mind is not just a tool. It is power. Real, unstoppable transformational power. Stand firm, hold your peace, keep your focus, and watch as the world bends before the force of your calmness. Let them shout, rage, let them panic. You remain steady. You remain strong. You remain powerful. Because calmness is not just a state of mind. It is the ultimate weapon, the unshakable force, the unstoppable power that lies within you right now. Life has a way of testing us. It throws storms in our path, some expected, some completely out of the blue. These storms come in many forms: financial pressures, relationship struggles, health crises, workplace challenges, personal doubts, or the weight of unfulfilled dreams. They arrive unannounced. They arrive relentlessly. But let me tell you something, storms are not the true enemy. The real battle is not outside of you. It is inside of you. The real battle is the storm within. And the question is, will you control it or will it control you? Many people walk through life at the mercy of their inner storms. The fear, anger, frustration, and confusion inside them dictate their words, their actions, ultimately their destiny. They react impulsively, speak rashly, and allow anxiety and despair to guide their decisions. Those who understand the power of self-mastery, those who learn to control the storm within, discover a different truth. You cannot always stop the storm, but you can command how you respond to it. Control begins with awareness. You cannot control what you do not see. The first step in mastering your inner storm is to recognize it. Identify the thoughts that swirl like dark clouds in your mind. Notice the emotions that rise like waves in a turbulent sea. Fear, doubt, anger, jealousy, resentment. They are all storms within you. And just like any storm, if left unchecked, they will wreak havoc on your life. But here is the good news: awareness is power. Once you see the storm, you can begin to steer it. You can begin to take the helm of your own mind, your own emotions, and your own destiny. Controlling the storm within requires stillness, requires pausing when the world demands speed. It requires breathing when the heart is racing. Too often, we react immediately to every challenge, every criticism, every unexpected turn of events, and in our reaction, we lose control. But when we cultivate stillness, we create a space, a sacred space between stimulus and response. It is in that space that wisdom emerges. It is in that space that strategy is born. It is in that space that the storm begins to bow to your authority. You must also recognize that controlling the storm within does not mean suppressing it, does not mean denying your feelings or pretending that fear and frustration do not exist. Control is not about repression, it is about direction. Think of it like a river. The waters may rage, the currents may twist and turn, but a skilled engineer can guide the river through channels, dams, levees to serve a greater purpose. The same is true for your inner emotions. Harness them, channel them, transform their energy into clarity, action, progress. The storm within can either destroy you or drive you, your choice. Faith plays a vital role in this process. When the storms of life threaten to overwhelm you, faith is the anchor that keeps you grounded. Faith reminds you that no matter how powerful the storm seems, you are more powerful. Faith allows you to step back from the chaos and trust that there is a path through it. Faith teaches patience when impatience tempts you to act impulsively. Faith instills hope when despair whispers that all is lost. When combined with calmness and self-discipline, faith becomes a guiding force that transforms the storm from a threat into an opportunity. One of the most dangerous traps of inner storms is overthinking. The mind, when uncontrolled, can amplify fear and create illusions of catastrophe. You begin to replay past mistakes, worry about every possible outcome, and imagine worst-case scenarios that may never happen. This mental turbulence feeds the storm and makes it appear larger than it really is. Controlling the storm within requires you to take dominion over your thoughts. Train your mind to focus on solutions rather than problems. Direct your attention toward what you can influence rather than what is beyond your control. Speak life over your circumstances, not defeat. Remind yourself constantly that you are the captain of your mind and the storm must obey your command. Discipline is also essential. Storms cannot be controlled by wishful thinking or fleeting motivation. They require consistent effort, intentional practice, and self-mastery. You must practice patience in moments of irritation. You must practice restraint in moments of anger. You must practice clarity in moments of confusion. Each time you exercise control over your inner storm, you grow stronger. Each time you respond with intention rather than reaction, you reinforce your authority over your mind and emotions. And over time, that authority becomes unshakable. Critical aspect of controlling the storm within is perspective. The storm often seems bigger, fiercer, and more overwhelming than it truly is. We forget that storms are temporary. Clouds do not last forever. Winds eventually subside. Life's challenges, no matter how immense, are fleeting in the grand scheme of your journey. By keeping perspective, you remind yourself that the storm is not permanent, it is not a reflection of your worth, and that it does not define your future. Perspective allows you to remain steady, composed, and unwavering, even when the world is shaking around you. Controlling the storm within is not about perfection. It is about resilience, consistency, and intentionality. There will be moments when the storm rages uncontrollably. There will be moments when fear or anger breaks through your defenses. The measure of strength is not in never faltering. It is in how quickly you regain control, how decisively you redirect the storm, how unwaveringly you continue to move forward. Each time you rise from the storm stronger than before, you prove to yourself that nothing outside of you has the power to defeat you. Take control of the storm within. Do not let fear dictate your decisions. Do not let anger cloud your judgment. Do not let doubt paralyze your progress. Cultivate awareness. Embrace stillness. Channel your emotions. Strengthen your faith. Train your mind. Exercise discipline. Maintain perspective. And above all, persevere. Because when you learn to control the storm within, you will discover a power unlike any other, a power that cannot be taken, a power that cannot be shaken, a power that transforms trials into triumphs, chaos into clarity, and storms into victories. The storms will come. They will test you. They will try to break you. But when the storm comes, remember this: the one who controls the storm within is untouchable, unstoppable, and unshakable. Stand firm. Steer your mind. Command your emotions, and let your inner power rise above every tempest. The storm is yours to control, and when you do, there is nothing in this world that can stop you. There is a truth in life that too many of us overlook. Clarity does not come through noise, chaos, or haste. Clarity comes through calmness. The ability to step back, breathe deeply, and quiet the mind is not just a skill. It is a superpower. It is the difference between confusion and understanding, between wandering aimlessly and moving purposefully, between despair and hope. Calmness is the lens through which clarity emerges. Clarity is the compass that guides us through the storms of life. Life is full of distractions. Every day we are bombarded with information, opinions, pressures, and demands. Our phones ring, our emails flood, the world shouts, and expectations press down on us from every direction. In the midst of this whirlwind, the mind becomes cluttered, decisions are rushed, priorities are confused. We become reactive, responding to the loudest voices rather than the deepest truths. Without calmness, we are adrift. But with calmness, we gain sight, we gain direction. Gain power. Calmness allows you to separate signal from noise. In life, not every problem deserves an immediate reaction. Every conflict requires your energy. Not every fear requires your attention. When you cultivate calmness, you create a space between yourself and the chaos, space where you can observe clearly, think critically, and act intentionally. This space is the birthplace of clarity. It is where insight is born, where solutions appear, and where strategy takes root. The calmer your mind, the sharper your vision, the stronger your decisions. Think of a stormy sea. The waves crash, the wind howls, and the world seems out of control. Now imagine a sailor in that storm. If he panics, if he allows fear to dictate his actions, he will be tossed about, lost and helpless. But if he remains calm, if he steadies his hand and studies the movement of the waves, he will find the path to safety. Calmness gives perspective. Calmness provides guidance. Calmness creates clarity. Without it, even the smallest challenge can feel insurmountable. With it, even the fiercest storm can be navigated successfully. Calmness also protects your mind from the deception of emotions. When we are anxious, angry, or fearful, our thoughts become clouded. We imagine worst-case scenarios. We replay past failures. We exaggerate threats. Decisions made in this state are often flawed, impulsive, or regretful. When you cultivate calmness, you see clearly. Fear loses its grip. Anger no longer controls your actions. Worry becomes a tool rather than a tyrant. In the quiet of a calm mind, truth emerges. The path forward becomes visible. The solution, once hidden, reveals itself. Many people underestimate the power of pause. They rush to respond, react, and act, thinking that speed equals progress. But speed without calmness is chaos. Speed without reflection leads to mistakes. Speed without clarity results in confusion. Calmness slows the mind long enough to consider options, weigh consequences, and identify the best course of action. It allows you to listen to your intuition, your inner wisdom, even the subtle guidance of a higher power. It turns impulsive reactions into deliberate actions. And in that deliberate action lies victory. Clarity comes through calmness because calmness brings focus. In the absence of calm, our attention is scattered. We chase every thought, every worry, every distraction. But a calm mind is selective. It identifies what truly matters. It sees the essential from the trivial. It directs energy toward meaningful goals rather than futile efforts. Focus is the fruit of calmness, and clarity is the fruit of focus. When you learn to calm your mind, you learn to prioritize your life. You learn to see the forest for the trees. You learn to discern the path that leads to purpose, fulfillment, and success. Faith is a companion to calmness in achieving clarity. Calmness allows you to trust in timing, to trust in process, and to trust in a power greater than yourself. When fear tempts you to rush, calmness reminds you to wait. When doubt seeks to cloud your vision, calmness invites reflection. When confusion threatens to overwhelm you, calmness brings stillness. And it is in this stillness that faith and clarity meet. You realize that not everything requires immediate understanding. Some answers come in their own time, some solutions are revealed slowly, and some guidance is received only when the mind is quiet enough to hear it. Clarity is also the antidote to regret. So many people make decisions in haste, speak words they later wish they hadn't, or act impulsively out of panic or anger. They live with the weight of these mistakes, wondering how they could have done things differently. Calmness prevents regret because it allows for thoughtful reflection before action. It teaches patience. It teaches restraint. It teaches discernment. The calmer you are, the wiser your choices, the clearer your vision, and the lighter your heart. Another aspect of clarity through calmness is perspective. Life can feel overwhelming when we are in the eye of the storm. We see problems magnified, difficulties intensified, and challenges distorted. Calmness allows us to step back, to see the bigger picture, to recognize that no storm lasts forever and that every challenge carries a lesson. With perspective, decisions are no longer driven by panic or short-sightedness. They are informed by understanding, shaped by insight, and guided by purpose. Perspective turns confusion into clarity. Finally, clarity through calmness empowers action. Clarity without calmness is fleeting. It is insight lost in the whirlwind of emotion. Calmness anchors clarity, transforming understanding into strategic, purposeful action. When your mind is calm, your steps are deliberate. Your choices are aligned with your values. Your actions are effective rather than reactive. Calmness allows you to navigate complexity with grace, to face challenges with confidence, and to pursue your goals with unwavering determination. Cultivate calmness, quiet the noise, silence the chaos, and still your mind. Breathe deeply in moments of pressure. Pause before reacting to frustration or fear. Listen before speaking. Reflect before acting. And when you do, clarity will follow. You will see paths where others see obstacles, solutions where others see problems, and opportunities where others see despair. Calmness is not weakness. Calmness is power. And clarity, the clarity that comes through calmness, is your guide, your compass, and your weapon for navigating life's storms with strength, wisdom, and victory. The world may try to rush you, confuse you, and overwhelm you, but when your mind is calm, you rise above it all. When your mind is calm, clarity lights the way. When your mind is calm, you act with purpose, see with vision, and live with power. Let calmness be your foundation, your practice, and your weapon. And through it, let clarity illuminate your path, guide your choices, and lead you to triumph. Life has a way of testing us at every turn. Challenges arise unannounced, emotions flare, people disappoint us, circumstances seem impossible, and chaos threatens to overwhelm. In these moments, most people react. They respond in haste, driven by anger, fear, frustration, or impulsive emotion. Reactions are fast, uncalculated, and often destructive. They may provide temporary relief, but they rarely produce lasting solutions. Acting, however, is different. Acting is intentional, deliberate, and powerful. Acting is the art of mastery over your mind, your emotions, and your circumstances. The greatest leaders, the most successful individuals, people who leave a mark on the world, they don't simply react, they act. To act instead of react requires awareness. You cannot act effectively if you are trapped in the heat of emotion. You cannot make strategic decisions when fear or anger controls your thoughts. Reaction is immediate, it is impulsive. Action is purposeful, it is intentional. The first step in learning to act rather than react is recognizing your triggers, the thoughts, words, and situations that provoke knee-jerk responses. Awareness is the first weapon in your arsenal. It allows you to pause, to step back, and to assess before engaging. It allows you to be the master of your circumstances rather than the servant of your impulses. Reacting is easy. Anyone can react. It requires no discipline, no patience, no focus. But acting requires strength. Acting requires a steady mind. Acting requires a heart anchored in vision and purpose. Reacting may solve an immediate problem, but it rarely solves the deeper issue. Acting, on the other hand, addresses the root cause, seeks solutions, creates long-term results. Reacting is temporary. Acting is permanent. Reacting is noise. Acting is clarity. Think about the people who have achieved greatness in life. Think about the leaders who changed nations, the entrepreneurs who built empires, the visionaries who reshaped industries. Did they react to every criticism, setback, or attack? No, they acted, they observed, they analyzed, and they chose their response carefully. They allowed their vision, their purpose, and their values to guide their decisions rather than letting emotions dictate their actions. That is the difference between mediocrity and mastery. That is the difference between failure and triumph. When you react, you are at the mercy of the situation. When you act, you are in control. Reaction is a surrender. Action is power. Every time you react in anger, every time you react in fear, every time you allow impulsive emotions to drive your behavior, you give away your power. But when you act with intention, when you respond with clarity, when you align your choices with purpose, you reclaim your authority. You stand as a leader of your life rather than a follower of circumstance. One of the keys to acting rather than reacting is pause. Pausing is not weakness. Pausing is strategy. It allows you to evaluate, to reflect, and to make decisions that serve your long-term goals rather than your short-term emotions. In that pause, you gain perspective. You ask yourself, what outcome do I truly want? What decision will honor my purpose? How can I respond in a way that strengthens rather than diminishes me? The pause transforms reaction into action, chaos into strategy, frustration into opportunity. Another key is self-discipline. Acting requires restraint. It requires the ability to hold back immediate impulses and instead choose a course of action that aligns with your higher purpose. Discipline is the bridge between intention and execution. It is what allows a person to respond thoughtfully rather than rashly, to speak with wisdom rather than anger, and to move with strategy rather than impulsivity. The more disciplined you are, the less likely you are to be controlled by emotion, circumstance, or pressure. Discipline transforms reaction into action. Acting also requires clarity of vision. When you know who you are, what you want, and why you exist, you are less likely to be swayed by temporary setbacks, criticism, or provocation. Clarity gives you direction. It gives you purpose. It gives you the ability to see beyond the immediate discomfort and to make decisions that serve the greater good. Reacting has no vision. Acting has purpose. Reacting is blind. Acting is guided. Reacting is chaotic. Acting is precise. Emotions are not the enemy. Anger, fear, sadness, frustration are part of being human. The difference between reaction and action is not the absence of emotion. It is mastery over emotion. When you act instead of react, you acknowledge your feelings, but you do not allow them to dictate your decisions. You allow your mind and spirit to rise above the turmoil. You channel the energy of your emotions into strategic, purposeful action. That is power. That is influence. That is leadership. Consider the conflicts that arise in relationships. How many arguments are fueled by reaction rather than action? Words spoken in anger, decisions made in fear, assumptions made in frustration. These often create long-term damage. But when we choose to act, we respond with intention. We listen before speaking. We understand before judging. We approach with patience rather than haste. Acting fosters understanding, cooperation, and resolution. Reacting fosters regret, resentment, and chaos. The workplace is no different. Challenges, criticism, and setbacks are inevitable. Those who react impulsively may burn bridges, squander opportunities, or make decisions they later regret. Those who act strategically, however, evaluate the situation, consider the options, and respond with solutions. Acting builds credibility. Reacting builds chaos. Acting produces results. Reacting produces regret. Even in the face of personal trials, loss, disappointment, failure, the principle remains. Reacting allows despair and frustration to dominate. Acting allows perseverance, resilience, and faith to emerge. Acting transforms setbacks into lessons. Acting converts pain into growth. Acting moves you forward when everything around you encourages stagnation. Reacting keeps you stuck. Acting propels you to victory. Ultimately, acting rather than reacting is about taking responsibility for your life. It is about refusing to give your power away to circumstance, to others' opinions, or to the storms of emotion within you. It is about deciding that no matter the provocation, no matter the difficulty, no matter the injustice, you will respond with intentionality. You will respond with purpose. You will respond with power. Acting is not only a strategy, it is a declaration. It is saying to the world, I am in control. I will not be moved by chaos. I will not be defeated by emotion. I will rise above, refuse to react. Do not let anger dictate your words. Fear dictate your decisions, or frustration dictate your path. Pause, reflect, consider, and then act. Act with wisdom, act with strategy, act with clarity. Act in alignment with your purpose. Act in a way that honors your potential, your destiny, and your values. Every time you choose action over reaction, you reclaim your power. Every time you choose action over reaction, you build the life you were meant to live. Every time you choose action over reaction, you step into your authority and become unstoppable. The storms will come. People will disappoint you. Circumstances will challenge you. Emotions will tempt you. When you act instead of react, you rise above the chaos. You move with clarity. You respond with strength. You live with purpose. And in the end, you will discover that life's greatest victories are not won in moments of reaction. They are won in moments of intentional, deliberate action. Stand firm. Breathe, pause, reflect, and act, not out of impulse, not out of fear, not out of anger, but out of power, out of purpose, out of clarity. Because when you act instead of react, you are unstoppable, unshakable, and unbreakable. The world cannot move you. Circumstances cannot define you. Storms cannot deter you. You are a force to be reckoned with. And it begins with one choice to act, not to react. There's a truth that the world often fails to teach us. True power does not come from what is outside of you. True power does not come from wealth, influence, recognition, or status. True power does not come from who supports you or who opposes you. True power begins inside. Inner power exceeds external power. It is a source of resilience, courage, and victory that cannot be shaken by circumstances. The world can try to intimidate you, challenge you, pressure you, but the power within you is greater than anything that exists outside of you. External power is fragile. Money can vanish. Positions can be lost. Influence can wane, and recognition can fade. People can betray you. Institutions can fail you, and opportunities can slip through your hands. But inner power cannot be stolen. Inner power cannot be taken away. Inner power is cultivated. Inner power is forged through faith, discipline, perseverance, and self-mastery. It is built by enduring storms, overcoming fear, choosing courage when the world demands weakness. That is why inner power exceeds external power. It is permanent, enduring, and unshakable. Think about the great figures in history, the people who changed the world despite overwhelming opposition. They did not rely solely on external advantages. They did not wait for resources, recognition, or allies to move forward. They relied on the power within, the strength of their mind, the courage of their heart, the clarity of their vision, and the unshakable faith that guided their steps. When external forces tried to block them, they persisted. When circumstances seemed impossible, they persevered. When the world said no, they said yes within themselves. That is the essence of inner power. Inner power is the foundation for resilience. Life is unpredictable, and circumstances will always change. External power is conditional, can disappear overnight, but inner power allows you to withstand loss, failure, and rejection. It gives you the ability to rise after every fall, to keep going when the path is blocked, and to find solutions when all seems hopeless. External power depends on others. Inner power depends on you. Because it depends on you, it can never be taken unless you give it away. Another essential aspect of inner power is control over your mind. The world cannot control your thoughts unless you allow it. Circumstances cannot dictate your emotions unless you permit it. People cannot determine your self-worth unless you surrender it. When you develop inner power, you gain mastery over your mind. You learn to focus on what matters. You learn to rise above distractions. You learn to refuse fear, doubt, and negativity a place in your consciousness. When your mind is disciplined and your spirit is strong, external challenges lose their ability to dominate you. Inner power also creates influence that surpasses any external authority. Think about a person who commands respect not because of a title, a paycheck, or a position, but because of character, wisdom, and integrity. That influence comes from within. It is not dependent on circumstances. It does not require approval. It radiates naturally because inner power carries authenticity, confidence, and composure. The louder the world screams, more inner power speaks. External power may control through intimidation. Inner power controls through example. External power may sway through manipulation. Inner power sways through inspiration. Faith is a cornerstone of inner power. When you trust in something greater than yourself, whether God, purpose, or universal truth, you anchor yourself in a source that cannot be shaken. External power is temporary and limited, but inner power, strengthened by faith, is limitless. When you cultivate faith, you find courage in the darkest moments. You find hope in the midst of despair. You find the strength to continue when external resources have been exhausted. Inner power anchored in faith exceeds any external obstacle because it draws from a source beyond the material world. Inner power is also the driver of innovation and creativity. When the world says no, when systems fail, when doors are closed, inner power finds the path that others cannot see. It allows you to imagine solutions that are not obvious. It gives you the resilience to experiment, to fail, to try again, and to succeed against all odds. External power can provide resources, but without inner power, resources are wasted. Inner power creates strategy, focus, and vision that transforms raw material into victory. That is why those with inner power rise even when external conditions are against them. Another critical aspect of inner power is emotional mastery. People with inner power are not controlled by anger, fear, jealousy, or frustration. They respond with intention, not reaction. They remain steady in storms, composed in conflict, and resilient in disappointment. External power may crumble under pressure, but inner power provides equilibrium. It allows you to navigate adversity with grace, to maintain clarity in chaos, and to act decisively when others are paralyzed by circumstance. Emotional mastery amplifies the impact of inner power and ensures that it cannot be undermined. Self-discipline and perseverance are inseparable from inner power. You cannot cultivate inner power without consistent effort. You cannot strengthen your mind, your focus, and your spirit without practice. External power may provide advantages, but only inner power guarantees progress. It is the drive that gets you out of bed when circumstances are discouraging. It is the force that keeps you going when others quit. It is the quiet determination to build, grow, and overcome when the world doubts you. Inner power is the engine of achievement, the source of resilience, the wellspring of victory. Finally, inner power exceeds external power because it defines your legacy. External power fades. Titles, money, status are fleeting. But the strength, courage, and wisdom cultivated within you leave an indelible mark. People remember the ones who overcame adversity, the ones who acted with integrity, the ones who persevered when circumstances seemed impossible. Inner power leaves footprints on hearts, minds, communities that external power could never touch. Stop seeking power from what is outside. Stop relying solely on resources, recognition, or external circumstances to define your strength. Look within. Cultivate your mind, strengthen your spirit, master your emotions, build resilience, nurture faith, develop discipline, and when you do, you will discover that inner power exceeds external power in every measure. You will find courage when others are fearful, wisdom when others are confused, hope when others despair, and strength when others falter. No matter the obstacles, no matter the opposition, no matter the storms that life sends, you are unstoppable when your inner power is unshakable. External power may rise and fall, but inner power endures. External conditions may change, but inner power remains constant. External forces may threaten. Inner power defends. And when you stand on the foundation of your own inner strength, nothing in this world can defeat you. Your mind, your spirit, your resilience, and your faith, these are your greatest weapons. External power may influence, intimidate, or impress, but it cannot compare to the force that lies within you. Harness it, cultivate it, protect it. Trust it. And while watch as life bends before the unshakable strength of your inner power, because when you recognize it, embrace it, and act from it, you will discover a truth that the world cannot take away. Inner power exceeds external power, and it will carry you to victory that no one can ever steal. There is a force in the world that is often overlooked, yet it holds the power to transform lives, change outcomes, and inspire greatness. That force is calmness. Calmness is not just a personal virtue. It is a contagious influence that spreads to everyone around you. It is a quiet power that moves silently, yet its effects are profound. The calm person in a storm is like a lighthouse amidst crashing waves, a steady anchor in turbulent seas, and a source of strength for those who are lost or overwhelmed. When you cultivate calmness within yourself, it doesn't remain contained. It radiates outward and touches every life you encounter. Think about it for a moment. How often have you been in a room where fear, panic, or anxiety was rising only to witness one person remain steady and composed? One calm voice, one steady presence, one unshakable individual can shift the energy of an entire room. Calmness is magnetic. It reassures others. It brings clarity to confusion, quiets chaos. It invites rational thinking where hysteria threatens to take hold. And just as fire spreads, so too does calmness. Composure has the power to influence moods, change attitudes, and inspire resilience in others. Calmness is contagious because it demonstrates mastery. People are drawn to those who appear unshaken by circumstance, unmoved by chaos, and unwavering in their focus. In times of crisis, everyone is searching for guidance, for reassurance, for stability. When you remain calm, you provide all three. Your calmness signals to others that there is hope, that there is a path forward, that they are not alone in facing the storm. Calmness gives people permission to breathe, to think clearly, and to regain their own composure. It is a gift you give without saying a word. Consider the power of leaders who embody calmness. Great leaders are not defined solely by their words or titles. They are defined by their presence. Conflict arises, they do not panic. When challenges intensify, they do not crumble. Their calmness becomes the standard for others. Employees, teams, communities naturally emulate those who remain composed. Calmness breeds confidence. Calmness breeds trust. Calmness breeds courage. When you radiate calmness, you are shaping the behavior and mindset of everyone around you. Calmness is contagious because it provides perspective. When people are overwhelmed by fear, anger, or frustration, their vision becomes clouded. They react impulsively, make mistakes, amplify problems unintentionally. But calmness allows for thoughtful observation. It provides a steady lens through which decisions can be made wisely. Others witness your ability to stay composed. They are reminded that there is a larger picture beyond immediate stressors. Your calmness helps them pause, reflect, and consider before acting, creating a ripple effect that spreads understanding and clarity. Your calmness also becomes a shield for others. In families, workplaces, or communities, stress is often shared. Tension can escalate when individuals mirror each other's anxiety. One calm presence can diffuse this chain reaction. Calmness absorbs chaos rather than amplifying it. It becomes a protective influence, shielding others from unnecessary panic. The calmer you remain, the more you stabilize the environment, giving those around you the opportunity to think clearly, act wisely, and respond with intention. It is important to recognize that calmness is not weakness. Many people mistake composure for passivity or indifference. Calmness is neither of these things. Calmness is strength. Calmness is courage. Calmness is intentional mastery over one's emotions and reactions. When you choose calmness, you are exercising power, control, and leadership. And when others see you exercise that power, they are inspired to do the same. Calmness becomes a model of resilience. Calmness becomes a blueprint for navigating life's challenges. And because people emulate what they respect, your calmness naturally spreads. Calmness is contagious because it fosters trust. People are naturally drawn to those who are stable, consistent, and unwavering. When you are calm in the face of adversity, others feel safe in your presence. They feel confident that challenges can be handled. They feel reassured that solutions are possible. Trust is born from consistency, and calmness provides that consistency in every interaction, whether at home, at work, or in public spaces, your calm demeanor can inspire confidence in others, allowing them to emulate your approach and maintain their own sense of control. Calmness also strengthens relationships. Consider a heated argument, a workplace dispute, or a moment of tension with a loved one. Both parties react impulsively, the conflict escalates. But if one person remains calm, the situation de-escalates naturally. Calmness gives space for understanding. Calmness allows for listening instead of shouting. Calmness fosters dialogue instead of discord. By embodying calmness, you influence the dynamics around you. You invite cooperation, clarity, and empathy. Your calmness becomes a model for others to emulate, and over time, it shapes the culture of your environment, whether at home, at work, or in your community. Faith and inner grounding enhance the contagion of calmness. When your calmness is rooted in purpose, values, and inner peace, it resonates with authenticity. Others sense when calmness is genuine versus forced. Calm mind rooted in faith, discipline and clarity radiates confidence and security. It encourages others to trust, to follow, and to emulate. Calmness becomes a silent sermon, teaching through presence what words often cannot. Inspires composure in others simply by modeling how to face life's storms with strength and grace. Finally, calmness is contagious because it creates momentum. When one person remains composed, others follow. When one person chooses patience over panic, clarity over confusion, intentional action over impulsive reaction, a chain reaction begins. Calmness spreads like ripples across water, touching everyone in its path. Teams function better. Families communicate more effectively. Communities grow stronger. Even strangers feel the stabilizing effect. By choosing calmness, you set in motion a wave of influence that far exceeds what any single act of panic or stress could achieve. So I challenge you today, cultivate calmness within yourself. Practice stillness when the world pressures you. Pause when emotions threaten to overwhelm. Breathe when chaos seems unmanageable. Ground yourself in faith, purpose, and self-discipline. And when you do, recognize the incredible power you carry, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. Your calmness is contagious. It shapes behavior, influences outcomes, fosters trust, strengthens relationships, and creates an environment where clarity, courage, and resilience can flourish. Remember, storms will come, chaos will rise, fear and frustration will knock at the doors of your life. But when you remain calm, you not only protect yourself, you uplift others. When you remain composed, you guide those around you. When you remain intentional, you inspire action over reaction. And in this way, calmness is more than a personal practice. It is a force for change, a beacon in the storm, and a gift that spreads from your life to every life you touch. Be the calm in the storm. Be the steady hand in the chaos. Be the voice of reason in the confusion. And watch as your calmness ripples outward, touching hearts, influencing minds, and transforming the world around you. Calmness is contagious, and it begins with you. There is a truth in life that cannot be overstated. Discipline is not a punishment, nor is it a rigid set of rules designed to limit you. Discipline is freedom. Discipline is strength. Discipline is the foundation upon which calmness is built. You see, calmness is not something that comes automatically, nor is it a simple personality trait. Calmness is earned. Calmness is cultivated. Calmness is the product of consistent effort, intentional practice, and unwavering commitment to self-mastery. And the key that unlocks it is discipline. Life will test you every single day. It will push, prod, and provoke. Situations will arise that threaten to overwhelm your mind, emotions, and focus. In those moments, your response is shaped not by chance, but by habit. Habits are built through discipline. Discipline trains your mind to respond with thoughtfulness rather than impulse. Discipline strengthens your spirit to remain unshaken when chaos surrounds you. Discipline cultivates calmness because it prepares you to act with intention rather than react in frenzy. Discipline begins with self-awareness. It starts with recognizing your triggers, the circumstances, people, and emotions that challenge your composure. Without this awareness, calmness is fragile. Without discipline, calmness is fleeting. When you understand the forces that provoke you, you can develop strategies to navigate them. You can train yourself to pause before reacting, to breathe when fear rises, and to reflect when anger threatens to erupt. Discipline allows you to practice these habits consistently until they become second nature, and calmness becomes your default state. Calmness cultivated through discipline is not superficial. It is not a mask you wear for appearances. It is an inner strength that radiates outward, even in the most challenging situations. The disciplined mind has been trained to withstand pressure. The disciplined heart has been conditioned to resist panic. The disciplined spirit has been forged in the fires of persistence and patience. And when this foundation is established, calmness becomes effortless, even automatic. It is no longer something you struggle to maintain. It is who you are. Discipline cultivates calmness because it teaches you mastery over your thoughts. One of the most destructive forces in life is an undisciplined mind. Left unchecked, thoughts can spiral out of control, doubts, fears, anxieties, and frustrations multiplying like a wildfire. But when you discipline your mind, you gain control over these mental storms. You learn to focus on what matters, to redirect attention from distractions, and to eliminate mental clutter. Calmness arises naturally when the mind is disciplined because clarity replaces confusion, focus replaces chaos, and purpose replaces panic. Another aspect of discipline is emotional regulation. Emotions are powerful, but they are not reliable guides. Fear, anger, jealousy, frustration can overwhelm even the strongest individuals if they are not tempered with discipline. By cultivating discipline, you train your emotions to serve rather than control you. You learn to respond rather than react, to weigh your words before speaking, to act with intention rather than impulsivity. Emotional discipline is the bridge between chaos and calmness, turning potential breakdowns into breakthroughs. Discipline also fosters resilience, which is essential for sustaining calmness in the face of adversity. Life will not always be easy. Challenges, setbacks, disappointments, and failures are inevitable. External circumstances cannot always be controlled, but how you respond to them can be. Discipline trains you to persevere when the path is difficult, to maintain composure when others panic, to continue moving forward when fear and doubt try to hold you back. Calmness is not the absence of trials. It is the presence of discipline that allows you to navigate them with grace. Routine is a powerful tool in cultivating calmness through discipline. A disciplined daily practice of habits, priorities, self-care creates structure in your life, reducing uncertainty and chaos. When your day is governed by intention rather than reaction, calmness flows naturally. Discipline allows you to manage your time effectively, prioritize your energy, and approach life with a sense of control. The more structured your mind and actions, the less susceptible you are to the storms of external pressures, and the more steady your calm presence becomes. Faith and discipline go hand in hand in cultivating calmness. Discipline strengthens your commitment to values, principles, and purpose. Faith gives you the assurance that your efforts are not in vain. Together, they create an unshakable foundation. Discipline ensures that you consistently act in alignment with your beliefs, while faith reassures you that even when outcomes are uncertain, your effort and composure have meaning. This combination transforms calmness from a temporary state into a lifelong practice. Another benefit of discipline is the development of patience. Patience is a natural companion to calmness because it allows you to resist the urge for immediate gratification, to delay reaction, and to wait for clarity. Without discipline, impatience often dictates our actions, leading to rash decisions, unnecessary conflicts, and avoidable mistakes. Discipline teaches you to endure, to pace yourself, and to trust in the process. And as patience grows, calmness deepens, creating a steady foundation for thoughtful action in every area of life. Discipline also creates confidence, which is essential for calmness. When you know you have trained your mind, honed your skills, and prepared your spirit, you face challenges with assurance. Confidence derived from discipline reduces anxiety and self-doubt, enabling calmness to emerge naturally. When the world pressures you, when chaos arises, fear threatens, a disciplined and confident mind stands firm. Calmness is not fragile. It is reinforced by the inner certainty that you have cultivated through consistent effort. Finally, discipline cultivates calmness because it teaches consistency. Life is not a series of isolated moments. It is a continuum of choices, actions, and responses. Discipline ensures that calmness is not situational but habitual. Each deliberate act of self-control, each intentional pause, Each mindful response compounds over time, creating a life in which calmness is the norm rather than the exception. The disciplined individual does not collapse under pressure. They rise again and again, steady, focused, and composed. So I challenge you today, cultivate discipline in every area of your life. Commit to practices that strengthen your mind, train your emotions, and fortify your spirit. Set routines that reduce chaos, exercise patience, practice self-control, align your actions with purpose and values. And as you do, you will discover a profound truth. Calmness is not fleeting, it is not accidental, it is not conditional. It is the natural product of disciplined living. Storms will come, chaos will test you, fear and frustration will rise. But when your discipline is firm, your calmness will endure. When your habits are intentional, your composure will remain. When your mind, heart, and spirit are trained, you will navigate every challenge with clarity, courage, and control. Discipline cultivates calmness, and that calmness is your power, your strength, your influence, your advantage in a world that often feels overwhelming. Be disciplined, be intentional, be consistent. And watch as calmness emerges not as a fleeting state, as a defining characteristic of your life. Calmness will guide your decisions, stabilize your environment, inspire others, position you to triumph in every circumstance. Discipline cultivates calmness, and through it, you become unstoppable, unshakable, and undeniably powerful. Fear is one of the most powerful forces in life. It can paralyze the strongest, overwhelm the wisest, and destroy the most promising dreams. Fear does not ask permission. It storms in unannounced, demanding attention, questioning abilities, and magnifying challenges. Here is a truth that few realize: fear is neutralized by calmness. Calmness is not just a temporary relief. It is a transformative force that diminishes fear, dissolves anxiety, and restores clarity. When you cultivate calmness, fear loses its grip, and you regain control of your mind, your emotions, and your destiny. Fear thrives in chaos. It grows in haste, in confusion, in uncontrolled emotion. When your mind is cluttered with doubt, when your heart races with panic, and when your spirit trembles with uncertainty, fear multiplies. But calmness acts as a counterforce. Calmness stabilizes the mind, slows the heart, and anchors the spirit. It allows you to step back from the intensity of your emotions and observe fear for what it truly is: a signal, not a sentence. Fear becomes manageable when you cultivate calmness, because calmness gives you the space to respond intentionally rather than react impulsively. Fear is also fueled by imagination. It convinces you that worst-case scenarios are inevitable, that danger is imminent, and that you are incapable of overcoming challenges. In the heat of fear, the mind inflates possibilities into impossibilities. Calmness tempers this distortion. Calmness allows you to see reality clearly, to evaluate situations rationally, and to separate threats that are real from those that are imagined. Provides clarity in moments when fear clouds judgment. Fear loses its power when you face it with a calm, focused mind that refuses to be manipulated by assumptions and exaggerations. Consider the difference between reacting in fear and acting in calmness. When fear dictates your response, decisions are rushed, actions are impulsive, and mistakes multiply. You may lash out, withdraw, or freeze entirely. Fear thrives in this chaos, but when calmness governs your response, you act from intention, strategy, and clarity. You analyze the situation, assess your options, and move deliberately toward solutions. Calmness transforms fear from a tyrant into a guide, a signal that invites preparation rather than panic. In this way, calmness neutralizes fear by reclaiming your authority over your thoughts and actions. Calmness is contagious, and its influence can extend to others in moments of fear. When you remain composed, your presence reassures those around you. It signals that the situation, though challenging, can be managed. Others mirror your calmness, and collectively, fear diminishes. In families, workplaces, communities, and teams, calm individual becomes a stabilizing force. Calmness does not just neutralize personal fear. It neutralizes fear in the environment, creating an atmosphere where clarity, problem solving, and confidence thrive. Faith is a critical companion to calmness in overcoming fear. Fear seeks to dominate by convincing you that you are alone, unprepared, or powerless. Calmness, strengthened by faith, offers resistance. Faith anchors your spirit, reminding you that there is a higher purpose, a guiding hand, or a path forward even when the immediate circumstances are threatening. Calmness and faith work together. Fear cannot hold sway. It becomes a fleeting shadow, unable to dictate your decisions or paralyze your progress. Calmness empowers you to act courageously even when fear is present, proving that the presence of fear does not require submission to it. Discipline reinforces calmness in the face of fear. Fear often exploits the undisciplined mind, the one that reacts impulsively or succumbs to anxiety. Discipline trains the mind to respond thoughtfully. It strengthens the ability to focus, prioritize, and remain composed under pressure. Through consistent habits, disciplined thought, and intentional practices, calmness becomes a natural state rather than a forced reaction. The more disciplined your mind and spirit, the less control fear has, because you have developed the resilience to face challenges without succumbing to panic. Courage is born from calmness. True courage is not the absence of fear, it is the presence of calm, resolve in the midst of fear. Calmness allows you to acknowledge fear without surrendering to it. It provides the mental space to act decisively, to speak boldly, to move forward even when fear whispers that retreat is safer. Fear may be present, but calmness gives you the power to neutralize its effect. The combination of calmness and courage transforms fear into a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. Perspective is another weapon that calmness provides against fear. Fear magnifies obstacles, distorts reality, and convinces you that the challenge is insurmountable. Calmness allows you to step back to see the broader picture, to recognize that no situation is permanent. Calmness helps you weigh risks, identify opportunities, approach problems strategically rather than emotionally. When fear is met with perspective, it loses its ability to overwhelm. Calmness reframes challenges as opportunities, turning fear from a hindrance into motivation, even in moments of uncertainty. Calmness allows you to maintain control. Life is unpredictable, and fear often arises when outcomes are unknown. Calmness does not remove uncertainty. It equips you to navigate it. By keeping a steady mind and composed spirit, you are better able to evaluate risks, make informed decisions, and take purposeful action. Fear may signal caution. Calmness provides the clarity to respond intelligently rather than react instinctively. In this way, fear becomes neutralized not by avoidance, by mastery of self. Calmness also protects your energy from being depleted by fear. Fear can be exhausting. It drains focus, motivation, and resilience. Panic consumes mental and emotional resources, leaving you vulnerable and reactive. Calmness preserves your energy by stabilizing your mind and regulating your emotions. It allows you to approach challenges with sustained strength, clarity, purpose. The more calmness you cultivate, the less fear can sap your energy, and the more empowered you become to take action despite uncertainty. Finally, calmness neutralizes fear because it fosters trust. Trust in yourself, trust in your abilities, and trust in the process of life. Fear thrives on doubt, uncertainty, and lack of confidence. Calmness cultivates confidence, composure, and clarity, replacing doubt with decisiveness. It reassures you that you have the inner resources to face any challenge. Fear may knock, but calmness opens the door to reason, strategy, and faith. Leaving fear powerless, cultivate calmness in every area of your life. Practice stillness when fear rises. Breathe deeply when panic threatens. Reflect before reacting. Ground yourself in faith, discipline, and perspective. And when you do, you will discover the transformative truth. Fear is neutralized by calmness. Fear may exist, but it does not control you. Fear may challenge you, but it cannot define you. Fear may knock at the doors of your mind, but calmness is the key that locks it out. The storms will come, challenges will arise. Fear will attempt to dominate. But when you cultivate calmness, you rise above it. When you master your mind, steady your heart, and anchor your spirit, fear loses its power. You act with intention, speak with wisdom, and move with confidence. Fear is neutralized not by avoidance, not by denial, by calmness, the calmness that empowers, steadies, and elevates you above the chaos. Be calm, be steady, be intentional, and watch as fear, once a tyrant, becomes a whisper in the background, unable to control your mind, your actions, or your destiny. Fear is neutralized by calmness, and when you embody it, you become unstoppable, unshakable, and unbreakable. Life is full of challenges. Every day, we are confronted with situations that test our patience, our resilience, and our courage. Obstacles appear when we least expect them. Problems arise in ways we cannot control. Circumstances often seem to conspire against our progress. Yet there is a principle that separates those who falter from those who rise above, who fail from those who triumph. Calmness transforms challenges into victories. Calmness is not passive. It is not indifference. Calmness is a deliberate, powerful, and strategic force that allows you to navigate difficulties with clarity, confidence, and control. Challenges are often magnified by chaos. When our minds are cluttered with anxiety, fear, and frustration, obstacles appear larger than they are. Decisions are clouded, priorities confused, opportunities overlooked. Calmness, however, clears the fog. It provides perspective. It allows you to step back from the turmoil and see the situation as it truly is. Calmness does not ignore problems, it illuminates, giving you the insight needed to respond effectively rather than react impulsively. Through calmness, confusion becomes clarity, difficulty becomes manageable. When you cultivate calmness, you gain control over your response. Life may throw unexpected curveballs. Calmness equips you to meet them with composure. It prevents panic from dictating your actions. It slows the heart when anxiety threatens to race. It steadies the mind when fear attempts to cloud judgment. In moments of calm, you make decisions based on strategy rather than emotion, wisdom rather than impulse, and vision rather than short-sightedness. This ability to act intentionally is what transforms challenges into victories, because victory is never born out of chaos. It is born out of focus, discipline, and clarity. Calmness also allows for creativity and problem solving. When fear and panic dominate, the mind becomes rigid, fixated on the threat rather than the solution. Calmness opens space for innovation, creates mental room to consider alternatives, explore strategies, and uncover opportunities hidden within challenges. The most resilient and successful people in history did not allow themselves to be consumed by adversity. They remained calm, and in that calmness, they discovered the solutions others could not see. Calmness turns obstacles into opportunities, setbacks into stepping stones, problems into platforms for growth. Another way calmness transforms challenges into victories is by influencing others in every arena of life: families, workplaces, teams, communities. Tension is contagious. Panic spreads quickly when people are unsteady, and chaos escalates when fear dominates. Calm presence steadies the environment. Calmness reassures, inspires confidence, and restores focus. When you remain composed under pressure, you not only protect yourself, you elevate everyone around you. Calmness becomes a force multiplier, allowing collective energy to be channeled toward solutions rather than wasted on worry and discord. Through your calmness, challenges are approached collaboratively, strategically, and decisively, increasing the likelihood of victory. Faith is also strengthened through calmness. Challenges often arise in moments of uncertainty where outcomes are unknown and hope feels fragile. Calmness allows you to anchor yourself in faith, faith in your abilities, faith in the process, and faith in a higher purpose guiding your steps. Calmness does not eliminate difficulty, but it strengthens your capacity to endure, persist, and prevail. When calmness and faith converge, you are no longer overwhelmed by circumstance. You are empowered to transform every challenge into an opportunity for triumph. Discipline complements calmness in converting obstacles into victories. Discipline trains the mind to respond rather than react. Discipline ensures that focus is maintained even under pressure. Discipline provides the consistency required to persist when difficulties persist. When calmness is grounded in discipline, it becomes a steady, unshakable force that sustains you through every trial. Discipline turns calmness into action, purposeful, deliberate, and effective action that overcomes barriers and secures victory. Calmness transforms challenges because it fosters resilience. Life's trials are unavoidable, but how we meet them determines our outcome. When you remain calm in the midst of adversity, you conserve energy, maintain clarity, and retain perspective. Calmness prevents you from being derailed by temporary setbacks. It allows you to recover quickly from mistakes, adapt to new circumstances, continue moving forward with purpose. Challenges that would overwhelm the frantic, panicked mind become manageable and solvable in a calm and steady state. Victory is found in those who endure with composure, not in those who surrender to chaos. Patience is another gift of calmness that turns obstacles into victories. Many challenges cannot be overcome instantly. They require time, strategic thinking, persistent effort. Calmness teaches patience. It allows you to endure uncertainty, remain focused on long-term goals, and act at the right time. Impulsive action often compounds problems, but calmness nurtures the wisdom to wait, observe, and respond effectively. Patience transforms temporary setbacks into lessons, obstacles into opportunities, and challenges into victories. Calmness also builds confidence. When you remain composed in the face of difficulty, you affirm your ability to handle life's tests. Confidence reduces fear, clarifies thinking, strengthens decision-making. It empowers you to approach problems assertively rather than defensively, strategically rather than reactively. Confidence grounded in calmness is not arrogance. It is assurance. It is the certainty that no matter the challenge, you have the strength, clarity, and wisdom to transform it into success. Calmness fuels this confidence, and confidence magnifies the power of calmness, creating a cycle that converts every difficulty into a triumph. Even in the most chaotic environments, calmness becomes a stabilizing force. Life will throw storms at your door, unexpected changes, crises, and challenges that seem insurmountable. Calmness provides an anchor. It ensures that your decisions are deliberate, your actions are measured, and your influence is positive. Calmness prevents you from being swept away by the tide of chaos and positions you to act with precision and effectiveness. When calmness governs your response, challenges are no longer obstacles, they are opportunities for strategic action and ultimate victory. Finally, calmness transforms challenges into victories because it empowers you to rise above external pressures. Challenges often come with voices of doubt, criticism, negativity, or discouragement from others. Calmness allows you to filter these voices, to maintain focus on what truly matters, to respond with wisdom rather than frustration. It strengthens your mind, centers your spirit, and clarifies your vision. In this state, challenges become opportunities to demonstrate strength, perseverance, and purpose. Calmness turns adversity into achievement, trials into testimony, difficulties into victories that leave a lasting impact. Cultivate calmness in every area of your life. In moments of uncertainty, breathe. In moments of fear, pause. In moments of pressure, reflect. Ground yourself in discipline, patience, and faith. And when you do, watch as challenges lose their power to intimidate you. Watch as problems that once seemed impossible now become solvable. Watch as obstacles that once blocked your path now guide you towards solutions. Calmness transforms challenges into victories. Not because life changes, because you change. Storms will come, difficulties will rise, and challenges will test your limits. But when you remain calm, you gain perspective. When you cultivate composure, you regain control. When you act intentionally rather than react impulsively, you turn trials into triumphs. Calmness is not passive. Calmness is not weakness. Calmness is power. Calmness is the force that converts chaos into strategy, fear into courage, setbacks into stepping stones, and challenges into victories. Be calm. Be intentional. Be unwavering. Watch as every challenge you face becomes an opportunity for triumph, every obstacle a platform for growth, and every difficulty a doorway to victory. Calmness transforms challenges into victories. And when you embody it, there is nothing in this world that can stop you.